It's exciting to build a business on the front end and make a bunch of money, but not if you don't learn how to grow and protect your monies, right? And in fact, I think in this conversation, you're going to realize money's not everything, but it ranks up there with oxygen, right? We're going to realize that it's very important to make it, but it's more important to keep it. It's more important to protect it. Who cares if you make a bunch of money if at the end of the year you have nothing to show for it? So we're going to talk to you about investing. We're going to talk to you about protecting your money, making the monies, right? All the things. And for those of you that don't know us, we are John and Nadya Melton. We like to call ourselves multipreneurs, right? We're entrepreneurs, but multipreneurs. We love business. We love to invest. We love to make an impact. You know, we started our My Lifestyle Academy brand over 10 years ago, actually, where we teach people how to build a profitable business online without sacrificing what's most important. How many of us are freedom motivated and or lifestyle motivated? We want to wake up when we're done sleeping, travel the world. We want money hitting our bank account even when we stop working. Now, obviously, we have had a lot of success in network marketing, but I like to believe that over the last 3, 4, 5 years, we've gotten really smart with our money. Because again, who cares if you make it if you don't keep it? If you continue to keep up with the Joneses, it's like you make more, you spend more, you make more, you spend more. How many of us are guilty of this? Do you know that if you make $500,000 a year in America, you're in the top 1%? But did you know if you make $35,000 a year, you're in the top 1% in the world? So a lot of us need to have a different perspective. But again, who cares if you're constantly spending all your money at Starbucks, at Target, right? You have more month than money.
Yeah.
Now here's the good news. You'll get better. If you suck at money or you suck at marketing or you suck at anything, you can get better. Listen, write this down. Whatever you lack, you attack. And that was us. We wanted to get better at the money conversation because we wanted to live the dream. We wanted to raise kids and have these beautiful fur babies and know that like we wouldn't have fights in front of our children about money. We wouldn't have a stressful environment for our kids to grow up. Now, the hard part too is also making sure you train your kids about money, right? But how can you teach them something that you know nothing about? So let's get into this conversation. We're really excited to help you get clarity on money, on growing your bank account, growing your business, protecting your money, all the things. So Nadya Melton is the genius in our household. You see me a lot on the front end, but she's the genius on the back end that makes all things happen in our household. Our financial house is in order because of Nadya, right? She's the genius behind our brand. So I'm really excited for you guys to hear from Nadya Melton.
Thank you. I'm excited to be here. I think this is a conversation that most of us, you know, we shy away from it, not because we don't want to get involved in the details, but a lot of times we're so busy with our business and we're so caught up in the weeds, which was our situation for over a decade, even though, yes, we were making a 6-figure income and then we graduated into a multiple 6-figure income. But everything that came in, it felt like it left the minute it came in, you know? So we started to really pay attention to what are the wealthy people doing? How can we, you know, decrease the expenses? How can we increase the money coming in? And how can we become really, really smart so we could just work really, really hard for a season of our life and then enjoy as many minutes as possible, right?
Because one thing about us,
live once.
well, one thing about us too is that we don't want to waste money. It doesn't matter how much money you make.
Yeah.
How many of us are on the same page? Like you don't want to waste money. You don't want to throw away money. And I feel like that's why it took us so long to have that breakthrough. It took us a while to get to 6 figures, 7 years to finally crack 6 figures in network marketing. It took us 16 years to become millionaires. But I feel like it's because we didn't have our financial house in order. And how many of us grew up with these sayings, right? My dad used to say this, right? Money doesn't grow on trees. Or how many of us heard money is the root of all evil, which is just foolishness, right? Money doesn't buy happiness. My dad used to also say, another day, another dollar. Anyone ever have a dad like mine or parents like mine?
I feel like the hardest part for me personally to go from scarcity into abundance was the mindset.
Right.
Like, and even if right now you're starting to make more money, but you still have those negative beliefs in your mindset, you by default will just waste the money. It's kind of crazy. So I remember there were a couple of different times for us where we had to do some really diligent brainwashing and adjusting the mindset, because having that abundance and having that positive mindset is absolutely the starting place if you want to graduate into financial prosperity, into financial abundance. So we're going to give you some mindset adjustment today inside this training. We're also going to give you some steps to success as well, because you got to be doing both, right? It starts with education. It starts with identifying what is that lifestyle goal that you have. For John and I, it was, we wanted to be with our kids. We wanted to figure out a way to build a business without having to consistently work that business. And we wanted to be able to travel the world, enjoy the time, because time is our most precious commodity. We can always make more money, but we cannot make more time. So I really want to challenge you to really sit down and think about, what are those negative beliefs that you grew up with? Potentially write it down, right? There's some really cool ways to get that clarity. Once you start paying attention, you can start then replacing those beliefs. And look, it's not greedy to want to make more money. Money is a tool, and you cannot show up and effectively do what you do and make the impact that you're on this universe to create if money is an issue. I love that quote. Money is not everything, but it ranks up there with oxygen. And if you have a problem that comes up, it's a lot more fun dealing with the problem when you can throw money at it.
Yeah. And it's not even about the money. It's what, like Nadya said, you can do with the money. Like some of you say, hey, I'm not money motivated. Okay, cool. But would you go to work every day if they didn't pay you? So, I mean, there is some money motivation there. Otherwise, you wouldn't have a job. You wouldn't want compensation. I mean, how else are you going to put a roof over your house? How else are you going to a roof over your family, excuse me, right? How else are you going to pay for food, pay bills? I mean, it's common sense. But with that being said, you should want more money, because that means you're making a bigger impact. And you know what? If you said, hey, if I had another dollar, I'd burn it. Well, don't burn it. Give it away. Donate your money. Give to your local charity. Give to your church, right? You can always do something really good with money. But again, we gotta play the game. And actually, I like that we call it a game, because it really is a different perspective versus you putting so much pressure on yourself, right? So let's talk about the 3 games of money. Let's get into it.
So there's 3 games to money. Game number 1 is we got to make it, right? That's where it all begins. For some of us, maybe right now we're in a season where we're learning the skills necessary to create the income you need to create, right? So once you learn how to make it, you then start to make it, and you want to then graduate to a stage where you have so much cash flow, it becomes like a positive problem. Do you know what I mean? So step 1, we make it. Step 2, we got to protect it. Why? Because the biggest expense of your lifetime is going to be taxes. And then if your money is not educated money, you're going to pay stupid tax. John and I are speaking from experience. We paid a lot of, silly tax is what maybe is a better way to say it, right?
I remember the first time I heard, I think it was Danny Johnson said, there are people that spend all their time trying to figure out ways. And these are really smart people. They're trying to figure out ways to get your stupid money. I think that's the best. And it's so true. They're trying to figure out how to get your money from you. And the sooner you become diligent with your money, you become a student, the better. Now, in one of the books that Nadya has, how many times have you gone through this book?
At least. So I listened to it 3 times on Audible. Matter of fact, that's how I like to, do it at first when I'm looking to understand the bigger concept, So, and you have to be okay with listening to something that maybe doesn't come natural to you. They're talking about financial markets and stock market and, tax deferred and pre-tax dollars, all these different words that used to really intimidate me. But my protocol is I like to listen to the book and not worry about digesting all the different protocols and how to incorporate it. So first listen, then I bought this book in print, and I like to go back and highlight and make it actionable for me. Now, you guys are in luck. We're making it very actionable inside today's training, right? But this is such a great book to get your financial fundamentals on point. I recommend you get it on Audible. I also recommend you get it in print. Now, Tony also since wrote a book to follow up on money. So if you feel you're extra motivated, feel free to get that as well. But it's a good starting place, right? So money game number one is we need to make it. And here's the thing, wealth creation starts with excess income. So the goal is to increase your income without increasing your expenses and keeping your lifestyle the same.
That's supposed to be
And not,
excess?
yeah.
Like extra money, like
Yeah.
excess? Okay, because you put access.
Oh, is that wrong?
Yeah, but it's fine. I love it. I love it. You got to increase your income though, bottom line. And so make sure everybody understands that.
Oh, no.
Because if you don't increase your income, you need to downgrade some of your expenses, right?
Yeah.
But either way, you need that extra money,
Yeah.
right? If all your money is going out the door, out the window, so to speak, every month, then you won't be in trouble, right? So obviously that's why a lot of us have a home business, so we can monetize our skills, right? We can make money, whether it's freelancing, you could start your social retail business, right? You could do some consulting, coaching, speaking, you could write a book, you could do Uber Eats, you could do something to supplement your income, but also, again, decrease your expenses. It's such an important thing because, and we'll get people that are like, oh, what do I do? I have an extra, $5,000. And look, you could definitely start investing on the side. I think that's super smart, but you could also invest that money in yourself. I would highly recommend, whether you're investing in a course, whether you're attending a conference, a convention, you're investing in a coach, like you need to invest in yourself. You should also, once you start making more money, invest back into your business, invest back into your team. Maybe you could ask for a raise. Like there's a lot of different things you could do. And by the way, when you ask for a raise, you have to do it strategically. Like maybe if those of you that have a regular job, right, you talk to your boss and listen, I want to bring more value to the company so I can make more money. What would you suggest? It's all about how you position the question. You know what I'm saying? But I think this is so important for you to start increasing your income immediately. Now, again, obviously, we're big fans of network marketing. It's not the only thing you can do. It's one of the better options. But the bottom line is you need to increase your income so that you can start to have that extra money, that excess money, like Nadya was talking about, right? And then you could start doing some interesting things with the money. Then you got to protect it. I love when Nadya talks about this. She speaks a language I do not, but one of the fastest ways to make more money is to save money on taxes. And this is why you must be a business owner. You must be an entrepreneur because you can track your expenses. Let's say you invest in a course. Let's say you invest in a coach, an event, you buy a book, you buy products for your business. These are all tax deductible. So this is another heavy recommendation. Tax-free wealth, how to build massive wealth by permanently lowering your taxes. Legally, by the way. So this is Tom Wheelwright. This is a tax-free wealth book on basically being smart with taxes, especially as you start to make more money. Like it becomes super stressful. It becomes super stressful. I remember this one year, we'd made millions of dollars. And like the week before taxes were due, our CPA tells us, oh, you owe $1.2 million. Next week, we fired that CPA. There's, CPAs, and then there's tax strategists, right? We wanted a tax strategist, right? Whether it's charitable donations, mortgage interest, business expenses. This is why we love our home business, because you can write off a portion of your mortgage. You can write off, things that typically you would pay for anyway. It's exciting to have a business of your own so that you get those tax breaks. This is really important. So sometimes people are like, oh, I don't want to spend money on this. I don't want to spend money on going to a convention or spend money on products. Take out the word spend and look at it as an investment. It's a tax deduction. And the goal is to get a return on the investment, a return on the expense. Also investing in real estate.
And again, there's going to be different seasons, right? John and I didn't start to invest in real estate until we became educated, right? until we did the easy stuff, which was, quote unquote, easy stuff is like you start a business, you optimize your back end, you have the easy deductions, right? Now, real estate is you're going to want to have extra cash flow that you can put towards the real estate. And it's going to be a different game. It's a different game altogether.
Right.
Now, we did lose $1 million in real estate back in the day. And it was because we didn't know what we were doing, right? We didn't understand that you buy real estate for cash flow. Like, for an example, right now we have 2 Airbnbs in Destin, Florida. And it was really cool, you guys. Like, as you start to read these books and you start to understand the way that the tax laws are written, essentially the government wants to incentivize entrepreneurs to do things that are going to be good for the economy, right? So as we started to realize, like, oh, one of the really good ideas is to invest in areas you travel to a lot. And we were noticing that we would go and do these retreats with our network marketing team in Destin. And we have our good friends, Tim and Ksenia Housden, who already had some properties down in Destin. And lo and behold, we ended up purchasing a couple of these properties. And what was cool is, we could use that as a business expense on our network marketing side. But because it's now its own business being Airbnb, we also were able to tap into some bigger tax deductions, AKA the tax shelter. So it's really cool. Now it can get a little complex. So I struggle a little bit with kind of keeping it simple. And this is why I really love talking about building this in seasons, right? So identifying what season are you in right now? Are you in a season where you're learning to, make money online, you're growing your impact, you are optimizing your business to create a 6-figure income? Once you get there, then I say the next stage is you start to optimize your back end with your taxes. So you hire a bookkeeper, right? Back in 2015, one of the genius things that I did was I realized I don't like bookkeeping. Like, it snaps my energy, it turns me into this, more so negative person, especially around tax time. And I started to get on board with the message of, hey, onboarding other people to help you do the things that you're not good at actually makes sense. And it got us on a journey to minimize tax liabilities. It started to, become really, really exciting, you guys. So if all of this, what I'm saying, is giving you like a little anxiety, just get grounded in what game of money are you on. And if you don't have a bookkeeper, and bookkeeping and taxes and all of that gives you heebie-jeebies, maybe we lean into getting yourself a bookkeeper.
But here's the thing, because we felt like no one was teaching us this stuff.
No.
We had to go out there and figure out that information. Like, there was so much talk about recruiting, team building, duplication, social media, network marketing, like all those principles, but like nobody was really teaching people about money inside network marketing. Like, there's a handful of people, like Brian Carruthers does a great job teaching some of those principles, but still there just wasn't a lot of that conversation. So like Nadya said, we really wanted to figure this stuff out on our own, not just for us, but so we could teach all of you, because what's the point of making more money if you're foolish with the money, right? And I think all of us can appreciate that. There's probably some things that we're spending money on every day, every week, every month, that if we were to stop spending money on those things and we could create some breakage between what we're earning and what we're spending, we would have that ability to start investing and doing some interesting creative things. So it's not always just making more money. Yeah, making more money is cool. But like Nadya mentioned, you need to figure out a way to minimize your liabilities, keep your hard-earned money, because it doesn't matter how much you make, it matters how much you keep, and getting smarter with taxes. And by the way, the bookkeeper is great if you don't have one, to hire one, because not only do they help you with organizing all of your money and all of your expenses, but it also, like, when you go through and look at your expenses, you start to get super discouraged with all the money you're wasting on stuff. Like, a lot of you don't realize how much you're wasting, because kind of like when I talk about in business, so you don't have clarity in your business, you don't have a schedule, You don't have a DMO or a weekly method of operation in place. So your business isn't growing in that regard. It's the same thing with your money. So when you get a bookkeeper, it will help you also make those better decisions on a day-to-day basis, because at the end of the month or at the end of the quarter, when you sit down with your bookkeeper and you go through all your expenses, you're gonna be like, oh my gosh, like I waste so much money. So we need to become smarter with the money we're making, not just make more of it. Does that make some sense? So let's get into the third game of money. And again, smash that hard button if you love the idea of growing your money.
I love it. Okay, so step one, for those of you that do not have anything set up when it comes to growing your money, you find it intimidating, a great place to start is to get a fiduciary. If you don't have one, you want to get one, and then you want to start investing. Now, what is a fiduciary? It's somebody that's legally obliged to act in your best interest and provide unbiased advice. Now, I know we have multiple countries on. I, check and see how it works for you specifically in your country. But here in the United States, most financial advisors are just salespeople. And depending on what investment firm they represent, a lot of times they are incentivized to sell certain financial products. So the fiduciary is somebody that's really going to help you optimize your situation, help you align your long-term financial goals with the day-to-day.
Right.
It gives you that extra level of accountability. Like when John was talking about having a bookkeeper, right? And then your bookkeeper helps you and keeps you on track with your expenses. Whenever you want to improve something, you have to measure it. You have to get involved in the details. And then besides measuring it, if you're the only one doing it and it's not your thing, you want to take a nap before you get into that activity, right? When you create that next layer of accountability, so for your investment, that would be a fiduciary, right? They just help you stay on track.
But yeah, that was eye-opening for us. We didn't know that they have, such a thing out there where they're like obligated to, work in your best interest. And the cool thing about the fiduciary too is like we can send him investments.
Yeah.
And he'll actually give us his personal opinion, his advice on, high risk, low risk, real estate. Like he will look at different investments and give us questions we should be asking. Plus the best part is, and I feel like this is something that like we had heard, but we just, I don't know, we didn't really get it. You could basically become your own bank. Like, I don't want to go too far down this path, but like the infinite banking conversation, and just like, let me put it to you like this. Let's say hypothetically, you have $1 million in your
money market
account. Thank you. You want to borrow against the money. This is how wealthy people avoid taxes legally, right? They might have a business that is worth a certain amount of money, or they have money in their portfolio, their money market, whatever, and they borrow against the money. So they can pull out money against their business or against whatever it is. And because that's not earned income, you shouldn't have to pay taxes on something you're borrowing money, right? And the thing is, the percentage when you borrow the money from your portfolio, it's super low. It's super crazy low. So it's a really cool thing where you don't have to like sell your stock, right? With real estate, you have to like take out this mortgage. It's like a whole, gosh, that is like a nightmare. The paperwork and the process you have to go through to refinance and borrow against your equity. With the money market account, you can borrow against it, and literally within 2 days, they wire you the money. Do you guys get that? Like, I want you to really wrap your brain around that you could have money as you build it up. Of course, you got to build it up first. And again, this is that third game of money. But once you have money in this account, you could borrow against it to do other creative things with it and get the money whenever you need it real easily. Obviously, your goal is to not have to borrow against it, but if you need it, you have access to it. So it's a really cool thing. And even if you just start investing $50 a month, $100 a month, over time with compound interest, you can build wealth. I don't know how many of you have ever heard Tony Robbins' story where he talks about the guy that worked for FedEx making like $27,000 a year, something like super minuscule. But after 50 years of investing with compound interest, he had what, like $70 million? Something insane like that, because the money starts to compound over time. So I just need you to understand the value in investing and having a fiduciary. You know what I liked about it too, Nadia? The first time we talked to our fiduciary, he really sat down and went over a retirement plan. I don't know if her and I will ever actually totally retire from what we're doing, but it's nice to know like there's an end in mind. There's a plan in place, and you tell them your risk tolerance. You tell them, when you would like to retire, how much you can invest. Like, it's a really great thing. Now, again, this might not be relevant for a lot of you just yet, but it's good to know about this as an option down the road when you do start to make the big bucks, when you do start to earn that six-figure income or multiple 6 or 7 figures.
And I also feel like, until you get your plan and you get your ducks in a row, you get your financial house in order, I believe God will bless your territory when you are proven you're diligent with the one that you have. And there's definitely some things on our journey as we started to put these little pieces in place, you know what I mean? And deciding on, okay, this is going to be the percentage that we're going to invest every single month, and starting small. If you're not going to start investing or donating small, you're not going to take and all of a sudden be super disciplined and have all these systems
So
in
true.
place as you start to make money.
Yeah.
So a lot of this stuff, I hate to be, this dramatic about it, but some of us, we need to really clean up our back end now and showcase that, yes, I am diligent with the little territory that I'm given, so you can be blessed with more. Now, for those of us that are not ready for the fiduciary conversation and you go, let me just understand a little more. And this is my spirit as well. Before I hire anyone to do anything, I want to at least know the lay of the land, and I want to at least speak the language and understand the big picture, so I can then properly manage whatever that team is, or check in with them and see, oh my gosh, is this maybe somebody that's trying to steal our money? Is this one of those smart people that's going after my dumb money? No, thank you, unsubscribe, right? So a book that I just digested that I would love to recommend to you is The Simple Path to Wealth. This is a great, great book. And I really love that he just demystifies the complexity of becoming wealthy. And it really just comes down to avoiding debt, eliminating expenses that are a luxury. Like there was time in our career where we deactivated any and all TV subscriptions because TV keeps poor people passive, is what I believed. And it was much more important to get educated and to put our little money that we had at the time towards something that was going to have an ROI, return on investment, right? So he talks about, the fundamentals, but then also how to start to build your financial freedom through low-cost index funds. I'm not going to overwhelm you with my newfound knowledge, but it's a really easy way to create this boring plan on the back end. Let's say it is $50 to $100 a month that you're going to take off the top and you're going to invest. And you go, Nadia, what do I invest it in? Well, according to J.L. Collins, it's low-cost index funds, and he gives you a simple plan that is not complicated. It is very easy to follow. Now, you guys, disclaimer, John and I are not CPAs. We're not fiduciaries. We're not financial advisors. We're simply just sharing some ideas of what was really, really helpful to us on our journey from going, with having no life, having a six-figure income, never seeing our kids. I remember we were building this one business through pregnancy. I was pregnant with Christina, and we were out every single night. And we were doing PBRs. We squeezed 40 years of work into 5 years. And it felt like we didn't even have a light at the end of the tunnel. Like we had Christina on a Tuesday. She was 10 pounds, 2 ounces. And then on Saturday of that same week, we were out there doing Saturday trainings again. Like I remember being in such a grind with no light at the end of the tunnel, right? And even though, yes, 6 figures was coming in, but we didn't have any kind of back-end investment plan, and it could become very, very daunting. right? So if that is you, and right now you're in a place where maybe you're hustling, and you feel like you're not really building this long-term wealth, I want to trigger you and encourage you and inspire you to pause, evaluate where are we at right now? Which money game are you playing right now? And how can we catch a bird's eye view on your finances and elevate your strategy? So now every single month, when you go to build your business, to create that extra cash flow, you have that beautiful peace of mind that now your money is working for you. Like there's no better feeling than having a concrete plan of, look, when money comes in, there's a boring plan on the back end for investing. This is where we're going to be with our net worth in 5 years, in 10 years. Maybe you're becoming sophisticated and you have a fiduciary and you have maybe a plan to invest in real estate and turn it into another flow of income. But you guys, don't try to stream 7 income streams until you have one that's a successful stream. You know what I mean? We see that all the time in this space, social media, different channels, different businesses, shiny bull syndromes, all these different investments, crypto, this, that, and the other thing. There's 1,000,001 ways to make $1 million.
There's always opportunities out there. Don't get foolish and get sucked into things. And again, we're speaking from experience. It's happened to us. So we really want to help you create that abundance in your life and think differently about money. I mean, money is energy, right? Where your attention goes, energy flows. And if you put attention into your money and you get smarter with it, it is weird how, in turn you end up making more money and you feel a bigger impact and you have a vision for why you're doing the do all day, every day, all the time. And, you kind of know where you're going, and clarity equals power. Yeah.
So this is an affirmation that if you're struggling with the idea that money comes to you easily, effortlessly, and often, it's time to just repeat. Repetition is just so key to reprogram your mind, attract more abundance into your life. And, you got to get creative with it. So I would challenge you to write it down on a sticky note with this affirmation, take a screenshot, and then post it up in your bathroom mirror. See it. I would even go as far as creating reminders, like different alerts that'll alert you a couple times a day to remind you of this.
Yeah. Say it out loud. Like literally say this out loud 3 times a day.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one little sentence. Money comes to me easily, effortlessly, and often. And you just keep speaking it. And eventually you will start to attract it. It'll become reality.